Hello guys, this is Ori Coach again and welcome to Ori Talks Football. Again guys, like, subscribe, guys, leave a comment on the video. And yeah guys, I'm back again with another video. We're going to be talking about Kaizer Chiefs versus Richards Bay match. And yeah guys, again, I'm a crazy for life, but yeah guys, I won't lie, it's been a disappointing one. I would have thought that the game would have gone very well in terms of the results. We had high expectation in terms of the team. But the performance, guys, was very mixed and very poor, if I might say. And the disappointing part is the fact that these are the types of games that Kaizer Chiefs should be winning. These are the type of games that Kaizer Chiefs should be capitalizing in order to go up in the league and be competitive in the league. But we didn't show enough. We didn't show a level of quality that I expected us to at least show. I didn't see the certain aspects of the game of our play that I wanted to see, but I don't really think we did it well. Our passing was quite passive. When I say passive, I mean we weren't very coherent and cohesive in our passing. We were very lackadaisical. We were losing the balls a lot in areas where we didn't need to lose. And ultimately, at the end of the game, we didn't show enough quality in the final third, and that is something that I've said for a long time, that if we don't show a level of quality, one of the biggest things that I will always say that I am struggling to see, or one of the things that I'm very cautious about, is if Kaizer Chiefs will be able to show a level of quality consistently enough, especially when we play against the lower teams in the league. And again today, it was another issue that I saw today, that we still don't know how to play against the smaller teams. We still don't have a level of we still don't keep the ball with a lot of conviction. Our passing is still very, very hit and miss. We are not creative enough in terms of our chance creation. And again, guys, I'll ask you again, how many clear-cut opportunities did Luke Bartman get? I don't remember even getting one. Which clear-cut chances did we get besides one or the two that we were able to take, or one of the two that we were able to miss in the second half? We didn't create enough, guys. And yeah, it's unfortunately that's gonna be our biggest issue going into the game. And again, when I go to the tactical setup, okay, we played in a 3-4-3. We changed a bit from the 3-5-2 that we played in the game against Sundowns. Our back five was the same. The only difference was that instead of playing a 3-man midfield in Mtatwa, Mawoyo and Ndlovu, we played in Ndlovu and Mawoyo as the 2-8s, two midfielders, and then we played a 3-man attack with Bartman, Mfundo Vilakazi and Nduduzi Shabalala. And Nduduzi Shabalala and Mfundo were more the inverted number 10s that were playing. And Bartman was more of the striker, but he wasn't a striker that was staying in the line. You could see that he was drifting he had that freedom of drifting. But again, we didn't keep the ball well enough. You could see that Richards Bay was, from their defense, Richards Bay were comfortable in giving our defense the opportunity to keep the ball. It was only on a certain times that they were able to keep possession. But mistakes again, I think I'm worried. We have to really worry about Brendan Peterson as our goalkeeper. He's made 3 mistakes that have led to goals in the past 3 or 4 games. And similar mistakes that I thought he would have already gone past this, because in the season before the previous one, he had a lot of mistakes. But last season was his best season. But now it looks like he's gone back to his previous 2 seasons ago, where he's just making mistakes. As a goalkeeper, you can't be too comfortable on the ball, especially when you're seeing that the striker is pressing you, and one of the plans of the opposition team is to get you on the ball. If you're getting on the ball and you're seeing that the striker is pressing you, take the ball out. Even if it means that you're not giving it to a player, shoot it into the stands. Right into the stands, kick it into the stands. Don't be too comfortable on the ball. If you can't get your defender and you're passing and your building up is not going well, kick it forward. They'll play from the second balls. But to be too comfortable, and to be too lax and to be too relaxed, and then you concede a goal that early into the game, away from home, against a small team that you know that once they score, they're probably going to sit back and make the game very difficult for you. That's very, very unprofessional and very amateurish for me. Very, very, and I think that there has to be called out for that, because the mistakes that he's making are mistakes that are very, very easy to overcome. But those mistakes are making and not unnecessarily, and they are costing the team a lot. Kaizer Chiefs, the goals that Kaizer Chiefs cost today, they were from Kaizer Chiefs mistakes or their lack of concentration and not being able to do the things that are needed to be done. You're costing that. Those are the reasons why Kaizer Chiefs, those goals that were called, that they were considered. And then you concede those goals, the team works very hard. Again, those things where Kaizer Chiefs plays in moments, they had a good passage of play. They got into the box of Richards Bay, they tried to combine a bit, and then they got the opportunity, they got a penalty, you equalize. And then again, you concede another goal. At a critical moment just before halftime, yes, maybe you should have scored, but if the game is 1-1, keep it 1-1, go to halftime, change the aspects, change the team tactically, find a way forward. But if you're going to halftime having conceded another goal, you put yourself under pressure unnecessarily. And that was the thing that for me was worrying, was the fact that they conceded goals at times that they needed to concede and through their own mistakes, again from corner kicks and from set pieces, which you knew that Richards Bay were going to try and capitalize. Again, the positioning, yes, first of all, Quinica, Moloisani, and Miguel, our two best headers of the ball. Kick the ball, go and attack the ball. And again, I question the positioning of Peterson. If you're following the flight of the ball and you're going out, go and punch the ball or go and take the ball. If you're following the flight of the ball and your intention is to not get out, keep your position in the goal. Don't go out, keep your position. If he had kept his position and stayed within the 6-yard line or in his goalkeeping line, he could have kept that ball very easily. But he lost flight of the ball get headed back, and that was a very, very poor goal to concede. Yes, the question maybe there should have been another defender on the line or another player who they should put on the far post who should have taken the ball out. But still, again, that was a goal that was unnecessarily to concede. Again. And then when it goes to... And then when I'm looking at the game, guys, and I'm looking at the first half, again, our passing is not good enough, guys. Our passing and our passing from the midfield to attack, our attack and our passing is not good enough. We're too passive in our passing. We don't keep the ball enough. We don't have creativity enough. We lose the ball too easily. That's the thing I get frustrated about. We lose the ball too easily when we don't need to. We don't have clear, but when we strike, when they're clear, when we are supposed to keep the ball and keep the ball, have triangles, have good 1-2s. Our players don't do that enough. It's either we keep the ball longer than we should to, we pass the ball into areas that we don't need to pass, or our understanding of what to do when we get to the final third is poor. And I really think that one of the reasons why was that Mfundo and Mduduzi, we have to come and ask that question. Those guys are not growing enough. I think there's a serious question that we have to ask about those guys. Guys, Mfundo Vilakazi is coming into his third season. Duduzi is in his 4th or 5th season now. And they're still showing the same amount of inexperience and mistakes that they've been doing since they've come into the team. They're still making the same poor decision making. In the final third, they are making poor decision. There were a few instances where Kaizer Chiefs, yes, I could see what the goal coach was trying to do. He was trying to play Mduduzi and Mfundo in the pockets so that they could combine easy. They could play closer to each other and combine and create triangles and possibly not stay out wide, but be able to play inside the pockets and combine and create triangles in those congested zones. What I wanted to do. But their passing and their decision making is poor. Knowing when to shoot, knowing when to make a pass, knowing when to beat your man, when to create triangles and pass. Those are things that you need to do as number 10s. And I do think that those players are number 10s. But the decision making and their understanding of what to do is still very poor. These are guys that are going into their 3rd and 4th seasons. Those are things, being able to know when to pass, being able when to know to shoot. Their technique in shooting, understanding their positioning, it's just poor, guys. And this is something that we have to be called of. That is to be called. Yes, I want us to be comfortable in our players. I want us to push them. I want us to give them confidence. But there are some things that you have to be questioned. Is like, these guys have been here for a very long time, and they're not showing enough improvement in the first half and the second half. They didn't impact the game enough. You are looking at these players and saying that we want to put them. Look at players like Rele. You look at the players like Apolis. Those players are impacting the games. You can see those players are making decisions. They are knowing when to position themselves. They know when the ball stays out wide, which positions they are supposed to occupy. When they have the ball in the half spaces, what am I looking for? Must I cross myself? But those guys are still making very amateurish decisions. They're still making poor decisions. And the excitement of them getting on the ball and trying to play tricks, I think it plays on their mind more than being efficient and effective footballers. You need to be effective and efficient footballers first. Be effective. Create opportunities for your strikers. Assist. The first responsibility as an attacking midfielders is to create opportunities. Get on the ball. Take the team further. Make sure that you beat your man. Create triangles and create numerical advantages at central attacking zones. Be able to play and make sure that you are making the opposition team worry about you. But the way that they play, you can see that teams or opposition teams are not worried about them. And that's the thing, is that we're playing against Richards Bay United, and they are giving poor decisions, or they're giving poor performances against lower teams. In teams when they should be performing, teams where they should be giving their best, teams where they should be showing the quality that they have. But they are not, and they're consistently doing this, guys. Even inconsistent performances. One game they'll show a good moment, of the next 3 games they are all. And people are always saying that these guys, we must back these guys, but they are not showing. The coach spoke about Mfundo, this is your season to show that you're a good player. But they're still showing the same characteristics that they've shown in the first seasons. And yes, maybe this might be the 4th game, but they're showing the same things that they showed in the previous seasons, guys. And we're going to continue to back these guys. But they have to do better, they have to be better. And as fans, we have to call this thing out to say, you guys have been back for a long period of time. It's the same thing that was happening in Ngobo. Ngobo is in his 8th season. And people are still saying that they are expecting him to, they are still waiting for his best. He still can't show. When he gets an opportunity, still doesn't give enough. So this thing has to be called out, guys. Yes, sometimes, yes, coaches, I have a question mark with coaches, and I do question the coaches, I do question the management. Yes, I still have a lot of issues with the Kaizer Chiefs management. I still have a lot of issues with the coach and the decision in him playing a back 3. But there are certain things as players, there's a professional courtesy and a professionalism that you have to show as a player, to say, I have a responsibility as a player playing for Kaizer Chiefs, which is the biggest team in South Africa, to perform and to improve and to show my quality. Those guys should be guys that are getting 10 goals, 10 assists, 10 goals, double figures in goals and assists every single season. If you're an attacking player in the final line of Kaizer Chiefs, you should be creating and scoring a lot of goals and creating a lot of assists for attacking players. And most importantly, you must impact the game. You must create opportunities for your strikers. You must create goal-scoring opportunities for your wingers and your other midfielders. But a lot of times, these guys, when I look at them in their performance and I look at them in their game, they drift in and out of games. And this is the thing, they drift in and out of the games. Sometimes they're hiding behind the ball. Sometimes when they need the ball, they don't make the right decisions. And this is something that has to constantly improve, because those are the players that Kaizer Chiefs, all of us, the teams and the fans, are looking at them to be able to carry this team. But they are struggling against teams that we should be against, lower teams in the league, guys. And this thing has to be questioned. This thing has to be spoken about. Because this is something that has been happening for seasons, and people have just been saying they will get better. Well, they'll get better when they get into their 5th season, guys. In other teams and other big teams, if you don't perform in your 2nd season, you're out. But because we hold a special place in our hearts for these players, because they've come from the development and they're our local players, we give them more opportunities than they need to. But when other players come from other clubs or come from other countries, after they don't perform after 3 or 4 games, we then suddenly say that this is not good enough. What about our own players? We must look at our own players also. We can't just look at other players coming from other sections and then we say that when they don't perform, they're not good enough. Modi has been Kaizer Chiefs for 4 seasons now. He hasn't scored, I don't think he has scored more than 5 goals. And he's been one of the players that has played consistently in this club. I think he's been one of the players that has played the most games in the last 4 or 5 seasons. And he's a winger for Kaizer Chiefs, an attacking player for Kaizer Chiefs, and he's not scored more than 10 goals. Imagine a winger playing for the biggest team in the country and hasn't scored more than 10 goals. I don't think even more than 5. So it should give you a question, Uri. What are we trying? What are these players? And I just think that a lot of our players are average players. Average players. There's a lot of our players in our team that are just average guys. And then that thing has to be spoken. Yes, coaching can come, but the quality is important. You need to have quality to be able to play at a team like Chiefs. And I haven't seen it consistently enough from Tutuzi, from Mfundo, from Modi. Yes, they do it in moments, but they don't do it enough to impact games. And these are the games that they should be showing that Kaizer Chiefs should be winning this game 3 or 4-0. I'm sorry to say. But you should be winning this game comfortably as a big team. If you want to be competitive in the league, these are the games that you should be winning at a high score. But you're not doing it enough. And I just felt like I had to say this, honestly. Again, and I also think in Love in the first half, there were a lot of balls that were being lost in the middle field. There wasn't any cohesion. There wasn't any clear passing. Our passing was very lackadaisical. In the second half, after changes were made, Monyane got injured. They put in Dylan Solomon. You could see that Dylan was trying to attack and make those runs on right wing side. But it was always going to be more of a challenge because Richards Ubena were now comfortable and were willing to sit enough in a low block. And that was the thing that I would say that I said that Kaizer Chiefs, that is one of their biggest weaknesses is they don't have a good game models that is able to help them play against teams that stay in the low block. And the general lack of quality in them able to create chances is something that you could see because it was a good goal where the goal that came from Chiefs when they played the good goal, they played the ball wide, they played the ball into the space, Velabai made a good run, they did cutbacks, and then as Ndlovu was making those runs from midfield, and then he did a cutback, and then he did a good shot. But that's what you need to be doing more. You need to be able to play. That's why I say you need to earn your right to go to be able to play wide. You can't just go wide too quickly. Play the ball in the middle field, make sure that the team compresses, and then you play the ball wide, you cut the ball back, and then you score. That's a high quality goal. That is more of what I'm looking for. Kaizer Chiefs should be able to play triangles, play the ball, keep the ball, move the ball a bit, and then play the ball wide. If you're moving the ball wide, move the ball wide with speed, and then cut the ball back. Those runs where I always say that when you're playing the ball wide and you're playing the ball with speed in the middle and then you move the ball wide, the biggest thing is to make sure that the opposition defense is turning. And make sure that they face their goal. The moment they face their ball and then you cut the ball back or you're crossing the ball, it makes it much harder for the defenders to be able to switch and open their body to be able to look at the ball and look at the incoming man. But the moment they face their goal and then you have runners coming to the goal, it's difficult for them to be able to pick up runners. And that's the thing that Chiefs needed to do. You need to make sure that you change the direction and the positioning of the defensive team. Make sure that they face their defense. Make sure that you are turning them. Make sure that you have good triangles. Make sure that you're coming in and out of the congested zones, creating triangles, getting good passing, having good overloads. Once you do that and you're keeping the ball in between the lines and you're making runs in behind and you're playing the balls of high quality, at quality and at the right time, those cutbacks are things that you need to do more. And that's the thing that I was looking for, that the Kaizer Chiefs have to play a bit more like that. You can't be lackadaisical, and they need to make sure that they work the team. They need to work the teams. They need to stretch the opposition teams a lot more. But they were not doing it enough. And yes, in the second half, I do think that when they put in Faiz Abrahams and put in Duba, which is something that they needed to do early, they were putting in a lot of crosses. But because the crosses were inconsistent and they were not putting enough people into the box, They were not creating, they were not able to create opportunities. You need to bring in crosses. You need to make sure that you destabilize the defense and then put in the cross. But when you're putting in a cross when the defensive team is already set, it's easy for them to be able to hit the ball hard or defend the ball. But when you keep the ball in the middle, you create triangles, you play the ball, and then you play the ball wide at pace. And as I say, the defensive team faces their own goal and they're running back to their goal. And then you put in the cross. You give your striker and the people that are oncoming to the ball an opportunity to be able to score. But also the runs of the Chiefs players into the box was not good enough. And they were still, again, inconsistent. So, guys, in my post-match reaction, I'm just trying to say that Kaizer Chiefs have a lot of work to do, and especially in the attacking areas. They are taking players of Kaizer Chiefs. There's still a lot of work to do. I think the impact that Kaizer did was able to show a bit of good moments. But again, the biggest thing I'll say is that Kaizer Chiefs have a lot of young players in their attack, guys. Kaizer Prime is a young player, Mfundo is a young player, Tusu Shabla is a young player, Luke Batman is a young player, Pili is a young player again, Philippa is a young player. These players are very, very, very young. When you're playing a lot of young players in the same time, this is me just giving a constructive view of the team. When you're playing a lot of young players at the same time, there's going to be a lot of inconsistencies. And it's very disappointing for me to even say that Mfundo and Washawala are inconsistent, because these guys are guys that have been playing at the league for over 3 seasons now. Mfundo, yes, is starting to get more opportunities now to play. But these guys already have an understanding of the league and what it takes to play in the league. But again, Kaizer Chiefs, when you play a lot of players that don't have a lot of experience and don't have a lot, especially when I look at the Bartmans, the Bartmans, the Faize Brahms, the Velebais, those players don't have a lot of experience. And when you don't have players in and around them, also inexperienced players that are not consistent enough, in the Maboyes, in the Modis, that are not making an impact, the pressure on those guys is a lot. And you can see that in their decision making is very raw. They're still very raw. And their decision making is still suspect. They make a lot of poor decisions, and they make a lot of inconsistent decisions when they get into the final third, when they have to dribble, when they have to pass. And those are things that come with time. And that's where a lot of coaching is going to happen. And that's why I say we mustn't be surprised with this result, because Kaizer Chiefs are still going to struggle in a lot of games, because these players, they need a lot of coaching. And because there also is not a lot of quality in the attacking areas around them, a quality in terms of the players that are around them who are creating and who are consistent. They are still learning the game, and when you're still learning the game, you're gonna make a lot of decisions, and you're still going to be raw in your decision making. So this is something that yes, I'm disappointed, but I'm not surprised, because there's still a lot of players that are very raw, and it's just disappointing that Kaizer Chiefs is not adding a lot of experienced players. That's why I said, guys, Chiefs still need another number 10. They still need an experienced right winger. They still need another creative number 8, another midfielder who's creative, who can be able to make the team tick. A player like Sipombole, I'm not saying Sipombole, but a player like him who can be able to make the team play, who can get the ball, who can play the runs, who can play the right pass, but players who are experienced enough to do that. A right winger who is more experienced, who has an understanding, who can play, who knows when to play 1-on versus 1 against his man. A person who knows when it's the right time to play the cross, and a player who creates opportunities and creates goal scoring opportunities and scores goals himself. They need that, and also a number 10 who does that, because the ones that we have now are not good enough. They are still not good enough to do that consistently. So it's disappointing, guys, and unfortunately, that's the name of the game. Kaizer Chiefs dropped 2 points. And yeah, I'm just disappointed, guys. Very, very, very disappointed. And I'm going to give now, like, I feel like I'm still saying the same thing again, is that in the final third, we're still not good enough in what we are doing. We're still creating a lot of opportunities. We're still not creating enough high quality opportunities, goal scoring opportunities for our strikers. And when we do get our opportunities, our conversion is very poor. We're still not keeping the ball well enough in the final phase. In the final third, our box entries are not good enough. They are not coordinated enough. And our players are not showing enough qualities in the final third. In defense, we're making a lot of mistakes. defensively in first phase football. Our goalkeeper is making mistakes. Our defense is not keeping the ball out. But there were a few balls where Kwinika played the ball in the midfield and not under pressure, just making mistakes. And yeah, guys, it's going to be difficult. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see and how the team develops. But yeah, two dropped points and it's disappointing. But guys, I'll give more videos and we'll give a brief more view in terms of what the team is to do moving forward. But guys, I just wanted to give my post-match reaction in the game. Again, guys, like, subscribe. And until I see you next time, guys. Bye-bye. Ciao.